What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao, bringing you the latest news from Taipei. Taiwan's constitutional court is set to announce its decision on whether to abolish the death penalty. This case was brought by Taiwan's death row inmates, who argue that capital punishment contravenes Taiwan's constitution. But the Justice Ministry says the death penalty has strong public support and that it should not be up to a court to decide. Now, Louise Wan is outside the constitutional court, where the verdict will be announced shortly. Louise, first, can you tell us about this case?
Well, Eric, activists who've been campaigning against the death penalty for years say this is the biggest chance in a decade to abolish it. Now, this hearing was brought by 37 death row inmates, and they argued in court here in April through their lawyers and together with NGOs who were supporting them, that the death penalty is unconstitutional because it goes against the right to life and the right to human dignity that are enshrined in Taiwan's constitution. On the other side of the case, though, was the Ministry of Justice, and lawyers for them argued that there's overwhelming public support for the death penalty here in Taiwan. In fact, surveys consistently say that about 80% of Taiwanese are against abolishing it. And they also argued that it's a part of East Asian culture, and that Japan and South Korea have also, in past judgments, said that the death penalty is constitutional. And now, today, 12 justices will be giving their judgment. There are 15 justices that sit here, but 3 have recused themselves because they've been involved in death penalty cases in the past. They just have to give a majority verdict. They've been reviewing their judgment for 5 months. That's the longest time that's been available to them.
Louise, how are we expecting them to rule today? Is it likely that we're actually going to see the death penalty overturned?
Well, people on both sides of the case have been telling me that they think the justices would not have taken on this case if they were content with the status quo. So what they're expecting is they say the least likely outcome will be that the judges rule that it's fully constitutional. Instead, what they're expecting is that they could say it's partially constitutional. What that means is they could say the death penalty is still okay for cases of murder, but not okay for all the other long list of offences that are currently still on the books, including drug dealing and kidnapping. Now, this court's past rulings have led to significant change in Taiwanese society. For example, in 2017, it ruled in favour of same-sex marriage, and it's rulings like that that have led Taiwan to be seen as the most progressive country in Asia. Now, activists say the fact that it still has the death penalty on its books is a stain on that reputation. What the justices say, we'll hear from them in a little under an hour from now.
Thanks for that, Louise. That was Louise Watt reporting from the Constitutional Court, and we'll have her back later with the court's decision on the death penalty. Prosecutors here in Taiwan have indicted 23 people for allegedly spying for China. They include 8 active members of the military, with the highest ranking officer being an Army captain. The military personnel involved were from the Armed Forces and Coast Guard, and they allegedly spied on Taiwan's military bases. Prosecutors say the spy ring's leaders were recruited by 2 Chinese businessmen in 2021 to collect information on Taiwan's military. The chief suspects are now being held incommunicado. September 21st is National Disaster Prevention Day here in Taiwan, the same day the country was hit by one of the deadliest natural disasters in living memory, the 1999 Ji earthquake. Reporter Reese Ayers went south to Chiayi to attend an event demonstrating Taiwan's preparedness for any kind of catastrophe.
Earthquake, typhoon, military invasion, whatever the threat, Taiwan is ready. That's the message coming out of this exhibition here today in Chiayi in Taiwan's south, ahead of a sobering day in the Taiwanese calendar. September 21st marks Natural Disaster Prevention Day, recognized for the first time in the year 2000, on the first anniversary of the devastating Ji earthquake that killed over 2,400 people in 1999. In addition to honouring tragedies of the past, the day has become a chance for the government to educate people on how to respond in the face of future disasters. After touring exhibits and greeting personnel who would be at the forefront of rescue efforts, President Lai Ching-te spoke about the importance of preparedness, particularly given Taiwan's vulnerability to natural disasters and the unrelenting threats of invasion from China.
各位都是国内救灾第一线最强大的力量，台湾民间甚至是国际友人，许多有量人、有资源、有意愿的团体或组织，我们希望能够结合政府和民间的力量，一起强化台湾的全社会韧性以及灾防体系的抗压能力。
Bringing together humanitarian groups, emergency workers, defense experts and tech specialists from Taiwan and abroad, the event showcases the latest in disaster response training and technology and drives home the idea that disaster response is a nationwide effort.
You know, we've trained approximately 20,000 civilians in the past few years in emergency response. And what we're here to showcase is that civil society, is that the general public stands ready to help in case of emergency.
From food prep to medical equipment to rescue animals, disaster response is considered from a range of angles. In Taiwan, the potential for a natural or man-made disaster is always in the back of the nation's psyche. And while sobering, events like these show the country's dedication at giving people the best chance at overcoming the worst-case scenario. Joseph Wu and Reese in Chiayi for TaiwanPlus.
Taipei prosecutors have once again questioned a key figure in a high-profile corruption case involving the city's former mayor, Ko Wen-je. Core Pacific Group chair Sun Qingjing was brought in for questioning a third time. His company is suspected of colluding to inflate the value of a property sale while Ko was mayor. Separately, an investigative task force set up by the Taipei City Council has met to discuss a report they're putting together on the case. The group aims to release that report by the end of this month.
未来我们也会请市政府也好，或者是监察院也好，再去做行政责任的处理。议会只能做行政的调查，我们没有权利去惩处谁，我们只能给出建议。
Israeli warplanes have carried out their most intense strikes against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon in nearly a year. It comes as tensions escalate after 2 deadly attacks on Hezbollah. Rosa Gweninger reports.
Israel launches airstrikes on Hezbollah infrastructure in Lebanon as tensions between them reach a boiling point. The bombardment lasted nearly 2 hours, targeting hundreds of the militant group's rocket launchers in southern Lebanon, weapons they're known to have used against Israel.
זהו שלב חדש במלחמה, יש בו הזדמנויות, אך יש בו גם סיכונים כבדי משקל. חיזבאללה נמצא בתחושה של נרדפות, ורצף הפעולות הצבאיות והביטחוניות שלנו יימשך.
The strike came as funerals were being held for some of the dozens of people killed in a wave of attacks that Hezbollah blames on Israel. Hundreds of pagers and walkie-talkies used by Hezbollah militants exploded simultaneously 2 days in a row, injuring thousands, including bystanders. Israel has not commented on those attacks. In a televised address, Hezbollah's Lebanon chief called it a declaration of war and vowed retaliation, saying the rigged devices crossed all red lines. As the speech aired, Israeli jets could be heard flying through the Lebanese capital, Beirut.
لا شك أن العدوان الذي حصل هو عدوان كبير، وكما قلت في سياق الكلمة هو غير مسبوق، وسيواجه بحساب عسير وقصاص عادل من حيث يحتسبون ومن حيث لا يحتسبون.
Nasrallah also said Hezbollah is undeterred in its fight against Israel in support of the embattled Palestinians in Gaza. The militant group has been exchanging daily fire with Israel since the outbreak of war in Gaza on October 7th. But this latest aggravation has heightened fears it could escalate into an all-out regional conflict. It's prompted world leaders to call for restraint and diplomatic solutions.
We are concerned about the tension and afraid and concerned about potential escalation. We have said that in the Middle East. We've been very clear. And we've also said that the way to move forward is diplomatic resolution.
The White House added it believes securing a Gaza ceasefire deal is the way forward to reduce tensions. But as strikes continue between Israel and Hezbollah, that goal seems far away, as both sides gear up to continue retaliations. James Lin and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
And as Taiwanese authorities expand their investigation into several companies with potential links to those explosions in Lebanon, the Foreign Ministry says that Taiwan has never directly exported pagers to the country.
我想把事实厘清啊，那因为台湾并没有出口这一款的这一个呼叫器啊，那是怎么样的一个过程啊？我想司法单位在调查当中。
Overnight, Taipei prosecutors questioned Xu Jingguang, the owner of Gold Apollo, whose brand was on the exploding pagers. Police also questioned a woman, surnamed Wu, who was allegedly connected to another firm called Apollo Systems. According to reports, Apollo Systems is the Taiwanese branch of BAC Consulting, the company that Gold Apollo says manufactured the pagers which exploded in Lebanon. Authorities released both Xu and Wu without bail. Two new programs aimed at attracting global talent to Taiwan could soon be in the works. One would give a so-called elite card to people who earn about $190,000 a year. Card holders can apply for permanent residency after just 1 year in Taiwan. There's also a plan to launch a 3-month digital nomad visa. It would be extendable for an extra 3 months, after which visa holders could apply for an employment gold card. The aim is to address a growing worker shortage caused by an aging population, while also competing with other countries for international workers with high-demand skills. There have been more sightings of several species of birds of prey in southern Taiwan, thanks to a special project between the local government and farmers. Sandy Chi has the story.
An eastern grass owl is spotted for the first time on the plains of the Galping River in Kaohsiung in southern Taiwan. This remarkable sighting is just one of a growing number. The area has also seen the arrival of a variety of other birds of prey, including the collared scops owl and the black-winged kite. The population of these bird species in southern Taiwan has surged, with sightings jumping from just 17 to over 100 in the past few years. That is thanks to the joint efforts of Kaohsiung's government and local farmers. Together, they've built nearly 100 perches throughout the area.
我们跟农民一起合作，累计设置了共93只的猛禽栖架。在去年度，我们共计拍摄到了猛禽有127次。
These perches are part of a Forestry Bureau scheme launched in 2022. The initiative pays ecosystem wages to people who help protect the habitats of vulnerable species. Farmer Hua Mengsheng is one of those involved in the program, and he's also working with academic institutions, helping them set up 2 more observation perches. He has not only seen scops owls and other birds of prey in his fields, but also witnessed how these birds help him manage his farm.
以前那个老鼠啊，因为这边有养羊嘛，养鸡会有饲料啊，他们老鼠会来吃啊，然后你发现到你有栖架以后，然后那些老鼠突然间就少了非常多。
Now with perches set up across Kaohsiung, people taking part in the project are looking to make southern Taiwan ground zero for a more biodiverse and environmentally sustainable Taiwan. Scott Huang and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Baseball superstar Shohei Ohtani has made history by hitting 50 home runs and stealing 50 bases in a single season. Ohtani is the first ever Major League player to achieve such a feat, and he did it while still recovering from elbow surgery. The Japanese-born player reached that milestone during an incredible performance in Miami on Thursday. His team, the Los Angeles Dodgers, beat the home team Marlins 20-4. Ohtani made 6 hits in 6 at-bats. He knocked in 10 runs, hit 3 homers, and stole 2 bases. Ohtani also set a Dodger record, becoming the player to hit the most home runs for the team in a single season. Thanks for tuning in today for What's Up Taiwan. Head on over to our website to see more of our news reports and programs. Finally, check out this ancient palace located 20 meters below ground in Istanbul. I'm Eric Al. Take care. We'll see you next time.